His fans say he's the MVP. He certainly looked like one against Portland. Is this a glimpse of Golden State's future? And when does that begin? We've got answers. Plus, there is one player who would be the perfect pairing with LeBron in LA. We'll tell you who it is and just how likely it is to happen. Spoiler alert, it's very likely. Let's get up, starting right now on a good Monday morning, and thank you for starting week with us here on Get Up, and we can make you a promise on behalf of Jay, Will, and RJ and Coach Tibbs. There will be none, and I mean zero, Game of Thrones spoilers this morning on ESPN, so you can watch safely if you've not yet seen it, because I've got people losing their minds over this thing last night, so I promise we will not ruin any of that for you. We will, however, ruin the game of the night for you last night, which was the game of this round of the playoffs for sure. This was the game that these conference finals desperately needed. Giannis and the Bucks taking on Kawhi and the Raptors in the critical Game 3, fourth quarter, under 2.5 to go, and we are tied. Kawhi Leonard, we are tied no more. Raptors at 93-91 lead. Less than 15 seconds to go. Bucks down by those two. Chris Middleton. Jay Will, why is he pulling up from there?
Well, he didn't know there were 3 defenders around him. Actually thought they should have held out for a better shot. Maybe call a timeout as well.
That's not a good look. He was 1 of 6 from 3. Remember, it's a 2-point game, so they have to foul Pascal Siakam. So he would go to the line, and Siakam would miss the first, and so now you're going to see the second. And so he doesn't make them pay. They miss back-to-back foul shots, and so the Bucks call a timeout with another opportunity. 7 seconds to go. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to Chris Middleton. Middleton to the basket. No, but look, he's going to stay with it, follow it up, and tie the game.
Well, yeah, and when you look at all the extra minutes that were forced on the Toronto Raptors because of missed free throws, that is going to come back to haunt them.
And so that would tie it. We'd go to overtime. Final seconds of the OT. Kawhi Leonard sizing up the defense. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second for the win. No good. Double overtime is where we're going. We're less than a minute in. Watch this play and tell me if this is a good call. Siakam going to drive the ball at that man, at the Greek freak, at Giannis, and they're going to call this a block, and Giannis is fouled out of the game. Good call, bad call?
I think it's a bad call. I think it was a charge.
Giannis fouls.
Good call.
Good. We got a little disagreement. One way or another. Giannis 12 points on 5 of 16 shooting. 4 minutes to go.
Double dribble. Double dribble.
Kawhi Leonard. He's awesome, baby. He's a PT player. But watch, grimacing, tugging at his shorts. We got an injury concern here. We're going to get to that in a minute. Meanwhile, let's show you how the game would end. You're going to see great two-way play here by Kawhi Leonard once again. He was 11 of 25 from the floor, plus 12 foul shots. Raptors a 3-point lead. Less than a minute to play. It's a 2-point game. Oh, and look at Siakam getting up on one end. And here goes Leonard going the other way. And
big
this was pretty much icy.
Big boy.
Beast mode.
And take a look. Both these guys played over 50 minutes last night for the Raptors in a game they desperately needed. And Siakam making the big play on one end. Kawhi on the other. He scored 36. And in double OT, the Raptors win.
Why, have you ever played 52 minutes before?
Pretty sure you know I haven't. I mean, you know that question. I'm not thinking I'm down 2-0 at the time. Just playoff basketball, you got to be in the moment, live in the moment. And, you know, we just all wanted to lay it out on the floor tonight.
His defense was probably the biggest key of the game. Made some huge plays with some steals and ripaways and breakaways. Yeah, he was good. I think he's okay. That was a lot of minutes, but I think he's okay.
Yeah, we're going to get to the injury concern from him in a moment, but give him all the credit in the world, because not only did he score the 36, playing 50-plus minutes last night, but he was also matched up pretty much the whole night against Giannis. As you can see there, 22 more times than he had been in the first 2 games of the series, and so he really did it on both ends of the floor last night for the Raptors. So all the credit in the world to him, but as we bring it out to the table for the first time this morning, your primary takeaway coming out of last night really involved the Greek freak more than Kawhi.
It does. He's one of the most dominant players we've ever seen to play the game, but I think the lack of free throw shooting, especially down the stretch, is something that hurts him. Now, I found a video that was even more fascinating, because I've airballed free throws before in my past. Usually when you airball a free throw, you look at your palms, right? You try to wipe. My man's looking at the top of his hands, Tibbs. He looks at, and then he wipes off the top of his hand on the thigh.
Well, the sweat was dripping down from the down around.
But in the playoffs, he's shooting 66% from the free throw line. And, you know, RJ and I had a battle during our pregame meeting about, you know, well, Shaq was dominant too, and I agree with him on that note. But at the same time, the ball is primarily in his hands down the stretch because of his ability to be that point forward within the offense. And this has to be a major concern for Milwaukee moving forward.
Let me get you into this conversation, Tibbs. I mean, to what degree does Giannis's inability at the foul line hamper what they're able to do late in these close games?
Yeah, it is a factor. It's probably the one hole in his game. I think he is improving. His shooting is improving. But he does so many things. Like when he attacks the basket, his ability to finish and draw the foul is still huge for their team. And then throughout the game, now he only had 7 free throws in this game, but if you look at most games, he's averaging 12. And what that also does is it puts them in the bonus early in each quarter. His ability to draw fouls is huge for their team.
And so all of us who are basketball fans are starving for a good fight sort of at this level, and Portland seems at this point unable to put that up. Do you think the Raptors are now right back in this series after a double overtime win?
I think they are, but there's still a lot more questions. Again, Kawhi's health. Kawhi, if he's at 85%, which is great, for most basketball players, I don't think that they have a chance. Kawhi needs to be 100% healthy and mobile. You see that they're struggling just to stay competitive, and again, battled back in this game and really fought this entire overtime. But if he's not 100% healthy, I think this series is really they're going to struggle.
Well, it's a good job showing you some of that video where he just clearly did not appear to be fine after that one big left-handed dunk. Michael Wilbon was there courtside for this game, and he had these impressions of Kawhi's injury.
I'm wondering whether carrying the team is weighing on those quads. Remember, this is what changed the nature of the entire league, not just Kawhi Leonard's career a year ago, the quad injury and missing most of a season. And he came down, I mentioned it now because he came down after a left-handed flush to really sort of put Toronto in control of this game late and was holding that right quad. And in 52 minutes, a game high 52 minutes, and they come back and play in 48 hours less than, you wonder if this is going to affect Kawhi Leonard.
Now, I wonder, is it reasonable to ask, do they just need too much from him? Is it too much to ask one person to guard Giannis basically the entire game on one end of the floor and then carry you offensively the way he is on the other?
It's not too much, and Kawhi can do this. It's not a matter of does he have the ability, is whether or not his body will hold up. He sat out all of last year. They rested him a lot this year so that when he got to these moments, they could make this type of run where a lot of the best players in the league play 40, 42, 43 minutes in an overall game. It's just whether or not his body can hold up.
Well, they might have rested him, for this moment, but RJ, you know this, and I've seen this so many times. And Coach Tibbs, you coach guys like this. If you have one of those type of injuries that comes back in these type of situations, I think that actually could be too much for him because he also needs to carry so much of the weight offensively as well. So now you're asking him, hey, we need you to drop 36 points in a game that you felt like Milwaukee always had a chance to win, right? With Giannis not playing well at all. And we also need you to be the primary defender. He guarded Giannis 21 more possessions than he has in any other game this year that he's guarded Giannis. That's a lot more that you're asking.
And I think you also have to look at the fact that it went to a double overtime, so there's 10 additional minutes.
Yeah.
But I thought the way he started the game was key for the team because he was playmaking it. That when they collapsed on him and he kicked out, that got Gasol going. He knocked down 2 threes right at the beginning of the game. That stretched their defense out. So late in the game, he had more room to operate. Siakam was effective, so other people stepped up. But his defense on Giannis was huge for the team.
Look, he played 52 minutes last night. Yeah, final thought.
I was going to ask you guys this. Do you think, is Chris Middleton the second best player on a championship team?
Well, he's the second best player.
I know in this team. I know. I'm asking you. That's a legitimate question.
And the answer is yes, right? The answer is yes because it looks like they have a very good chance to go to the finals. And I personally believe Milwaukee's going to come out. And I think that without Kevin Durant, they have a great chance. So Milwaukee right now could win a championship with him as their second best player.
We're going to get to that actually right now. Let me take you there actually because we can talk about the Warriors. Saturday night, as by now you probably know,